am I the asshole for abandoning my daughter on vacation? You were drowning in a sea, and then someone throws you a baby. That's how it feels to have so many children, which I think is hilarious.
But I was the child that had to sit in the middle of the car.
No. Oh, like she's getting killed.
And it turned out that the mother was lying.
I love that level of chisme. You look today from the movie Encanto, with
Mirabel.
yeah, maybe.
Welcome to the family, Madrigal.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah. Welcome to Latinas Unmasked,
where we dive into Reddit's hottest story and give our juicy takes on it. I'm your host, Zuleika.
And I'm your favorite pelona, Caro.
And today's theme, because it's summer, it's
Woo!
hot.
Vamos a la playa.
I wish we would go to the playa, but right now not. So the theme of today's episode is don't get overheated.
Ooh, that's
Yes.
impossible
No,
for
it's
me.
not possible. It's not.
Okay, but overheated in what sense?
That's the
like
question
cachondo sense or
So that's the question here. Like in
okay.
some ways it has to do with summer, vacation and things, but also like
when you get
I
turned
was
on?
thinking on okay, yeah, you're right. But I was more thinking in the way of how heat makes you kind of delulu sometimes.
Ah, yeah.
Where you're like delusional
Yeah.
and do weird things and you're just sweating and get crazy. So try to stay cool and calm and be normal.
Yeah, even though that's hard as a Latina, I think, too. For someone to
Well,
tell you,
yeah.
don't be caliente, it's like,
That's
that
very
doesn't
true.
help.
We don't stay cool. No, we stay cool. We always stay cool. What
yeah,
do you mean?
yeah. Well,
I'm not angry.
what are you talking about?
Like, don't tell me to calm down.
Exactly.
But are you ready?
I think I'm ready. Yeah.
Good. So the first story is from the subreddit Relationship Advice.
Ooh.
And it's titled, I, 23 male, recently awoke to my girlfriend, 23 female, intentionally pouring water in my ears. What is the name of this behavior?
The name of the behavior: Irus, Waterus, Insideus. I don't know.
Well, if that's all, here you have a name.
Just make it sound like it comes from Latin somehow, and then
How would you react? I mean, I'm so curious, but how do you get to that point? You wake up and it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. I would get a little bit scared, to be honest, if someone would do that to me without telling me, beforehand.
Okay. Well, let's see the story.
Yeah.
Title says it all. Okay, good.
Wow, imagine you give a title and then just write the title says it all and
That's
end
all.
it there.
Yeah,
It there.
we end it there.
She doesn't even ask the question for what kind of
what is
advice
this?
she's looking. Oh man.
So, okay. I finally got most of the water out. My hearing is nearly normal. How much was... Okay. I was amazed at how much water was in there. I was amazed at how much of my hearing has been muffled.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
But I do have to say, sorry, before you begin. Do you remember in your childhood when you will be like swimming in the alberca or the pool and you would get water in your ear? That was always one of the worst feelings I ever remember having as a child, because it would happen all the fucking time that I would just have water in my ear and
then you would start doing like,
yeah. I can't fucking get it out.
get out.
So
And then it
yeah,
slowly starts dripping out and you're like, oh.
Yeah. So if someone would do that to me, I would be like, okay, let's end the relationship here right now.
Yeah,
Because I hate the feeling of
gross.
water inside my ear.
And it's especially like, why?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Go on. Sorry to interrupt.
It's so bad it leads me to suspect she's been pouring water in my ears for a long time. I still feel water deep in my left ear canal. But, okay, I'm just curious about the part that he's suspecting. Wouldn't you, know instantly?
Who did it?
No, not just who did it. That she did it. Like, if she did it several times, like every night, you would know that just because it feels a certain way.
I would wake up. I mean,
Yeah.
if I would be asleep, I would immediately wake up. Like,
what the heck?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And especially because having water in your ear, at some points it drips out. You would not go unnoticed. I mean, you cannot live day by day and not notice that this is happening.
Yeah.
Right?
So even the OP sounds suspicious.
Yeah, like, what is going on with you two? Recently, I've been able to feel fluid in my ears. This has been going on for 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
That's way too long. Honestly, people sometimes do not know the limits of things, you know? Like, for me, it would have taken one case, one time, in one day to already try to stop it, no matter what.
I mean, I would have been worried, at least the second day. If I had... No, like, I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
He didn't know it was the girlfriend. Waking up or whatever, realizing you have water in your ears. At least the second day, I would be worried for myself. Like, what is going on? I wasn't bathing or whatever. I didn't went swimming. Where does this water come from?
Yeah.
Like, I would be wondering and not living 2 weeks long. Like, oh, I don't know what the sensation is happening here.
Oh, but you know what I find funny is imagining you know, the first day, just thinking, maybe it's me, you know, just dreaming. And just the second day it happens, you just open your eyes and you're like, okay, this is not normal.
Okay, I am kind of a gaslighter that someone that gaslights themselves. Like, maybe there's a logical reason for this.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's me.
And you know, there's another reason also if you notice it and ignore it. Like, there's some things where something annoys you and you're like, it's gonna go away, and it doesn't go away. But I don't know. It sounds more like he didn't realize anything was happening. Like, it was happening 2 weeks long, and it's like,
Yeah. Nah.
Whatever.
Whatever. Exactly.
I used to have ear infections yearly as a kid. I have met with a doctor and ENT about feelings of an ear infection. Both reported nothing wrong. Okay, so he did notice it. I'm glad.
Okay.
Kind of glad. We think OP is very dumb because
Yeah, I know. Like, we shouldn't be judging him so much, but we are judging him. Yep.
Just the way it's written, it's kind of odd, but okay. When she left the room, I laid on my back and some of water came out. My girlfriend made the disappointment lip smacking noise. Okay. You do before saying, "Oh man." I could hear her texting on her phone. She carefully climbed back into bed. She has no clue I know. The lip smack, the texting, she wasn't even trying to be silent when she got back into bed.
What?
This is another reason I suspect this hobby didn't start recently. I also don't understand. I'm like, My girlfriend is bipolar. My initial guess is this is some extreme behavior manifested by the illness. It's not her fault. There's kind of missing an explanation for... So how you know she did it, and how did she do it, and why is this now the reason you... What?
But the part I didn't understand was the lip smacking or slap or what? What?
She has the lip smack that...
I
don't know. So my girlfriend, he wrote, my girlfriend made a disappointment lip smacking noise you do before saying, "Oh man." Like, I think that... Oh man.
Okay. Gracias for the explanation. Okay.
But then I could hear her texting on her phone. It's like, what was she texting then?
Well, let's finish the text and maybe we can figure it out.
Well, in theory, that was the end of the text.
Okay.
But then there's an edit. So edit 0. I apologize for my blanket statement that points fingers at bipolar. I have been in a state of fight and flight. I'm not thinking clearly. My body violently shakes on its own. I have never encountered such evil. Sorry, Opie, what? You write so funny. I'm sorry.
It's on in the subreddit of relationship advice, and he just never asked the question of what should I do.
It's still kind of like, how? What the context? You need to give us more context. What is going on? Like, I don't understand still.
Yeah.
In the comment below, I replied, as I originally wrote this, I had vague memories that bipolar partners sometimes want absolute control over the relationship. I apologize to those that have replied within the thread that suffer from bipolar. I didn't mean to say this behavior reflects you, just her. I apologize if I'm attributing a behavior to bipolar that doesn't fit under its umbrella. It helped me make a little more sense of what is going on. Then another edit or comment. Has anyone heard of something like this? I feel absolutely insane posting this. Last night doesn't feel real. Neither does feeling the water come out of my ears this morning. I'm filled with dread of who I've been dating for months. I plan on breaking up with her. First, I need to make sure I'm as safe as possible. I'm deeply concerned about what she does after she pours water in my ears. Who was she texting? What the fuck is going on in my apartment when I'm asleep?
but I just had to imagine, he needs to be in a safe space before he confronts her or anything, and I can just imagine the crazy girlfriend with the water bottle, just being there like yeah.
Okay, it's crazy, but let's assume he kind of caught her pouring water in his ear when she maybe thought he was sleeping.
Yeah.
How do you react to something like that? No, seriously, I'm like,
it's like,
what do you do with that? And
would you define it as evil or just crazy?
I don't know. I think I maybe wouldn't straight away say that's evil because in my head, probably, I would think she's trying to prank me. Somehow.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why this was not his first thought, even though it's a weird prank, don't get me wrong. But it's also not very harmful. So I would have very fast been like, are you trying to prank me to see if I notice things or what's going on here?
And the fact that he never confronted her,
that's the thing.
It's also like
it's kind of weird,
super
isn't it?
weird. Like, if you would fully trust your partner, I would tell him or tell her straight away, like, hey, this has been happening to me for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Can you help me, or are you doing this, or,
Yeah, it's like talking, and then if she would be like hardcore denying and he still catches her, she's still denying it, then I would be like, okay, this is psychopathic. That's wrong. It is a weird thing anyway. Like, why the heck are you doing this?
Yeah.
But it's also like, why are you not
saying anything?
Like asking anything. Like, maybe this is just a super childish, dumb prank. Like someone like making your pants wet all the time until you notice that something's off.
Yeah, definitely. I just have to imagine someone doing to me also a silly prank and me just being like suspicious all the time but not say anything, just
yeah.
That's also like both of them are weird in the sense of
very weird.
Maybe she's the one doing that prank and he is the one just letting it happen without saying anything.
It's just, but in the end, if that is, you cannot even talk about it, and it is something that is kind of violating you because
it is
terrible what she's doing here. End it, break up and go away because you are not safe. But it's also like, if you want to give this a chance, at least talk to her and tell her you've noticed this and ask her like, what the heck is going on here? And maybe there is some kind of weird explanation.
No, but as we also mentioned it before, like, you would immediately notice when you have water in your ears, Like, it's not like he can keep on sleeping as if nothing happened when there is water in his ears. So
I'm also confused about...
He must be 100% sure of who is doing that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of also missing in explanation here. How can she pour so much water in? He said he was amazed at how much water came out. How can she pour so much water in without you waking up?
Yeah, exactly.
What? Is she like drowning you and then pulling your head or something?
She would need like a special instrument, just to pour in the water that like... I don't know.
I have questions. I have many questions.
We
okay?
can give you any advice, OP, if you do not give
we
more
are
details.
very unsure about the details here.
Yeah,
What's going on? So top comments, maybe they ask the question.
Yeah.
Definitely make sure you're safe. That's unhinged behavior. You're honestly pretty lucky the water in the ear was the only thing going on. Get out ASAP. Someone down there replied, what's scary is that it's just the only thing he's caught on to. If that was me, I would be wondering what else goes on when I'm asleep. Check your valuables are still present. Damn. Yeah, I mean, it is very creepy that she's doing this when he's sleeping and trying to prank him, but I'm also still asking myself, I mean, I don't know. Everyone is jumping on it. It's called abuse. Go stay with friend and family. Which, yes, of course, it's terrible. But it's also like, can you explain a bit more?
Yeah, definitely.
Because the way it's written, I'm also a bit actually asking myself if not OP is the crazy one here. What if she? I mean, he's just What
if he's the one doing that to himself? And just blaming
her. And I mean, we only have his point of view. But it's like, what if he's twisting the story because he's the one that's maybe...
And he just wants attention online with one Reddit story. Oh my god.
I'm really curious if this person has like other posts. Only very weird answers. Honestly, OP gives me very weird vibes. And it's also why is his question how this behavior is called? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I think whatever it is called, you need to talk to her and then decide if you get the out or stay.
Yeah, no, the marveling thing about this situation is how it could go so far, you know?
Yeah.
Like such a creepy situation wouldn't go or last as long as 2 weeks, you know, as he mentioned. But what I think is also quite interesting is how just by reading his story, we can already tell if he has weird vibes or not.
That's the thing. Yeah. I honestly, I'm really curious. Down in the comments, write down below what you think. Do you think we're the crazy ones here? That we're not already jumping to the fact that he should leave and she's crazy and
we're just building a conspiracy theory around an anonymous.
Or are you also getting kind of weird vibes from OP and that maybe he's the one lying and maybe he's the crazier one and just portraying her as that? Because I really would like to know what you think. Maybe we get it totally wrong here.
Yeah,
but let's move on. That was a crazy story.
I think from all the episodes we've done so far, that has been the weirdest, less detailed story we've ever read so far. Yeah,
it was the first time I was actually doubting that OP is telling the truth here.
Yeah.
Which did happen. There were stories where actually it turned out OP was just portraying a different perspective.
How could they prove that?
Because a third party wrote the story. Someone that, not the victim that was blamed, but someone third, a friend that saw them on things like that. Or the daughter no one mentioned. There was this one story I think I read with Taylor or... with a guest, I think, where actually the mother wrote terrible things about her twin sons and how their twin sons hate her and everything and are ungrateful. And she told them that she regrets ever giving birth to them. And then the daughter wrote her side. And she never mentioned to have a daughter. And it turned out that the mother was lying.
I love that level of chisme when someone can just prove the contrary.
I'll have to try to do a episode where we can have like double views. But it's kind of hard to find, but I'll see if I can imagine. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Let us know also if you would like those kind of stories where we get like 2 points of view from the same situation.
Or send them to us. Send them to us. You can send the link in the chat or DM us on Instagram and let us know if you find a story like that, because they're hard to find, but they're so amazing. Okay, here.
The precious hidden gems in Reddit.
Yes.
Okay, so the title of the story is "Am I the asshole for abandoning my daughter on vacation?"
Yes.
Especially on vacation,
It sounds like yes,
but something I do have to mention as a Latina who grew up in Switzerland. I often heard of children that would stay, at in school, while their parents did the most amazing vacations being abroad. And I would find that so heartbreaking, being like, oh my God, your parents went without you to Africa or Asia.
I mean, it depends. I think,
oh my God,
as soon to be parents,
yeah.
Doing one vacation a year where you would go alone with your husband without the kids would be healthy.
Yeah.
But it does depend if this happens all the time. Like if you don't get any vacation and your only chance is like your parents are going without you, that would be absolutely heartbreaking. Yeah. But if it just is about like, one time in, I don't know, spring, they're going without you for a week, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You can also stay alone at home for once.
Yeah. But that's a very European kind of lifestyle, I think, because back in Latin America, if you go on holidays, you're going with all the pack, because as a parent, you want your child to experience everything that you also experience abroad.
Yeah, and it also is a question of financial status. Obviously. It's a question of if you can even afford, because I feel like in Switzerland here it's kind of normalized that you go on vacation every freaking school holiday. Like you don't understand, we have sports holiday, which you are expected to go skiing, or it's like you're expected to go with the family skiing, which is super expensive. Then you have spring break, which just 2 weeks holiday where you're kind of expected to go away too, or where your kid is expected to be at a camp. Then you have like summer holiday for 6 weeks where you're expected to go away for at least 2 or 3 weeks. Then you have in autumn again, and then Christmas.
Like I know children, Swiss children who have already been all around the world and aren't even 17 or 18 years old. They're like, me and my family, we went to Tanzania just for 2 weeks, and then we went all through Asia and also to the Mongolian mountains, and it's like, oh my God.
And then there's Swiss me people, in a way, and we kind of went every year to Spain. I loved it, and we always went with the car, but I was the middle child. And I mean it literally and figuratively. I mean it as I was the middle child. I have an older brother and a younger sister, and 2 siblings again, which came later. But I was the child that had to sit in the middle of the car.
No.
The freaking car for 12 hours. Okay, that was pain.
I can tell it traumatized you.
And my brother is,
it's a big brother in every sense. Yeah.
And my sister with her baby car obviously had her space, and I had no space.
With her baby seat,
So
in the car.
that's family vacation. But actually, I have fond memories of it still.
Okay, your memory, your subconscious and conscious mind only want to remember the good things.
Yeah,
and try to suppress.
I guess in some ways I like the fact that I could sit there, listen to music, and we had like this rooftop where I could look outside and things like that. And I always loved our holiday in Spain because we always rented a house with a pool.
Not bragging over here.
No, but no, it was. I think it was actually, because I looked at it, it was cheaper than when you would rent Airbnbs today. So like there were different deals and things like that, and it was cheaper than going to a hotel. And we always went for 3 weeks. We stayed there 3 weeks. We brought our sheets and everything, but it was so nice. I loved living for a while there, so I have fond memories of it. Even though it's always started painful and ended painful if you think about it. But I mean, I was anyway used to being the middle child.
But I mean, did it ever happen to you that you were 10 years old or 11 years old and your parents would just say to you, like, oh, guess what? Do you remember France? You've always wanted to go to France. Well, guess what? We both are going to France without you, and you are going to school. Like,
okay, I kind of get that right now because my parents are with my younger sister and my older brother in Egypt vacation for 2 weeks in a resort. And I'm like, what?
Oh, sorry. She
what? Laughed at it.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I can't. We were talking about being overheated. I can't accept that. What?
They got overheated. But actually, that's just a disadvantage of being an adult and living on my own with my husband and being like, huh, I also want to go to family vacation. Okay.
Okay.
And we went once to Egypt, but that was before my sister was born and we were 3 kids. It was when we were 2 kids still. Do you get that? Like the privileges you had as a kid when you were only 1 kid stripped away when there was a second one.
Definitely.
Because there were some privileges when we were only 2. Sorry, sis. Love you.
You just reminded me of a video of a family, you know, those influencer families, you know, where they apparently have like the perfect lives and show everything on Instagram.
Yeah.
And one of them went viral, like a video of a mom that had already like 7 children or anything.
Oh, wow,
and
okay.
she wanted to surprise her children by showing them the pregnancy test, that it was positive and that they were waiting for another brother or sister. And the reaction of the children was hilarious because all of them were like, no,
not again,
not another one. And they just wrote in the comments, someone wrote in the comments like, these guys knew that their food portions were getting smaller.
I do have to say that I cannot understand. I mean, I am happy for the family that have a lot of children. I cannot understand how they can afford that.
Yeah, in the modern world, in the 21st century.
Yeah, maybe it's because we live in a super expensive country, but I'm already stressing about 1 or 2 kids. It's like 7?
Yeah.
Heck.
Well, I mean, you can tell that the parents just are going to raise up the first ones for the first children to then raise the rest of the gang, but yeah.
Yeah. But
anyways,
still, I mean, think about cars. Think about needing, even if you
hobbies,
share
activities,
and, I mean, beds, just simple furniture, clothing,
food.
It's just,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
One of my reasons, because I wanted 5 children. Now I kind of cut down to maybe 3.
Maybe.
Because I thought about having to need a bigger car and realized, that would be a pain in the ass, actually. And realizing how much it would cost to go on holidays with all 5 and just being like, I don't know, maybe I need to realize that it's not as easy, you know. I mean, there's this version of having a lot of big family versus but what can you afford with that? I mean, just the life you can give them.
I think I've already told you this joke, but there's a joke of one of my favorite stand-up comedians whose name is Jim Gaffigan, and he has 5 children in New York City, right? So he makes a lot of jokes about having so many children, and he was telling, like, when they got the first child, everyone was like, a miracle, we're so happy for you. For the second one was like, okay, awesome. And he said that after the third one, everyone just went like, just stop, you know, like, why do you do this? And then he tells a joke where he's like, well, you know, if you ever wonder how it feels like to have 5 children or to become, be ready for the 5th one, it just feels as if you were drowning in a sea and then someone throws you a baby. That's how it feels to have so many children, you know, which I think is hilarious. But then let's go with this Reddit story.
Okay, yeah.
So, my wife and I have always dreamed of celebrating our 14th anniversary with a luxurious vacation. Just the 2 of us. Do you know the song? Just the 2 of us.
No, but it sounds vibing.
Just the 2 of us. Okay.
Oh no, I have another song that's in my head, but no.
I really recommend it. If you know which song I mean, you are part of my vibe. Okay, so reliving the romance of our early years. We had it all planned out for years now, and we're excited beyond words. Enter our adult daughter, Jane. Jane and her husband got wind of our plans and promptly invited themselves and their 2 children, 9 female, 5 male, along. I originally put my foot down and told them this trip was just for us, which upset her some. But my wife has a hard time saying no to Jane, as she is the youngest of our children and our only daughter.
See,
and
for a moment, I was like, oh, well, you're setting boundaries. Then the wife, never mind.
Really. And she didn't want to hurt her feelings, so she reluctantly agreed to let them join. I wasn't thrilled about it at the time, but I wanted to make my family happy, and I knew my wife was also okay with the idea of a family trip, even if she was heartbroken we wouldn't get our romantic trip. We went along with it. The place we were originally going was not child-friendly, as it should be if it's really romantic. So we changed course and decided on all-inclusive family-friendly resort. We paid for the resort and our grandchildren's plane tickets. Okay.
Seriously?
Jane and her husband only had to pay for their own airfare. Okay. So there are a few things I hate about people, but I absolutely hate when they invite themselves.
Rude. Plain rude.
And expect you to pay. You know, like one thing is wanting to tag along, but also paying for all your shit. Another thing is expecting them for you to pay for their expenses.
Making people to change their plans to fit your needs, which would not have been necessary because you're not invited in the first place. Like having to change hotel because it doesn't fit the needs of having your kids talk along without you being invited.
Yeah, and I mean, the daughter is already an adult that's married. She should understand how couples, as you mentioned before, need their own time for themselves. But you know, I just think this is the case of, you know, the daughters who already have children that just expect their grandparents to take care of their own children. Like, you know, you are my kind of nanny that I can have, and if I want to go to a trip with you, I think the daughter really expects them as grandparents to take care of the young children of their.
You're a brat, if that's what you're thinking.
Oh
Seriously.
my god! But
ungrateful.
again, I mean, yeah, it would have been so easy just to tell them, you know what, this is our romantic trip, but we can gladly afterwards in the future do another family trip, you know? And
so simple.
It's a win-win situation. Nobody gets offended.
If she doesn't like it, you can also be okay. We have planned this in this hotel. If you want to be there at the same time, search your own hotel, book your own flights. You can be there. We can meet up for one day. But this is a special occasion we planned. We are going and we booked already. Finished.
But this is such a typical case for the youngest child in the family, you know, to happen, that they behave this way. And this is also true. Like, you know, the thousands of videos they are about how parents are, with every child they have, less strict and more pampering and more, you know, like giving them all these privileges that the older children never got.
I feel that so much in our Latina culture because our generation famously grew up with la chancla.
Yeah,
you know,
and
I don't know if healthy, but the fear of parents and the respect you have for them. And then I hear my sister telling her mother to straight shut the F up, and I'm like, oh,
like she's getting killed.
Like I saw her funeral already, and nothing happened. And I'm like, who are you people?
And it's all because they're the youngest, you know, which I think it's so incredibly unfair.
Especially because, you know, my sister's 7 years younger and yours too. I feel like they're just done. They're all in their minds like, we're checked out.
Like they suddenly forgot, you know, that
it's like,
they should
discipline things.
Yeah.
You know, I don't say that it is healthy and good because for the love of God, a lot of trauma happened. But it's still in a way like this internal fear of like, what? How can you survive this? I cannot even talk to my boss like that or things like that. And I just thought, no.
It's so unfair.
I couldn't even do it right now. I could be so angry out of so many good reasons, and I could still my internal would still be like crawling together, even thinking about saying something like that.
So if you're the youngest in your family, just know that millions of elder children just fucking envy you, okay? Because you never got the same suffering we had to get through childhood.
But if their version of getting parent is really better, that is another discussion.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I wouldn't necessarily say that they have like the better parenting. They just have it chiller.
Exactly. It's not better. It's just more relaxed in a sense, but in a sense
they can just do whatever the hell they want.
Exactly.
They're running wild.
Like, Dios mío, that's so unfair. Okay, but then let's go on with the story. Here's where things get complicated. As the vacation got closer, I started having a change of heart. I realized that our 14th anniversary was a once-in-a-lifetime milestone, and I wanted to honor it in a way that was true to our original plans. My wife and I might not be able to afford a trip like this again for quite some time, and it's something we always wanted to do.
Even more, why is the daughter inviting herself?
Yeah. So, without consulting anyone, I switched our tickets last minute to go to the romantic destination that my wife and I had originally planned for. I did not tell Jane or her husband. I didn't even tell my wife until the day before our flight left, which was a day before Jane's flight left for their vacation. Okay, here again. If you already said yes to something, then I think it's pretty asshole of you to just change without telling anyone. Like,
I love it.
But, if you already fucked up, then, I do think that if it's about something as serious and as expensive as this, then you need to... you already agreed to change your plans. So to change back without telling anyone, that's also
it is an asshole move, because in the end you failed to stick to your ground.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, the daughter invited herself, and it's like you wanted a vacation and you apparently wanted to go there.
Yeah, but
they still paid for the kids' vacation, so it's not like they're losing a ton of money.
That's true. But I mean, if you already agreed to change your plans, then I do think it's pretty asshole.
It's like the Latina in me is like, I love revenge. I love this, pettiness.
Like you can tell from where the daughter got from where she got the audacity to do such things.
Yeah. I mean, you did kind of in a way, not just you, but you and your wife in the end. You should have sticked with saying no, when if the daughter would have still ignored all of your no's, then I would have gone to the extreme of just booking it and not telling when you're flying and everything, because she clearly does not respect your boundaries, but you fail to keep up the boundaries. So
exactly. And you know what I do not like about this move is that they just will go with a bad feeling about it. I think the wife would feel bad afterwards. If they just would have said no from the beginning, then they just set their boundaries clear and there would have been no problem whatsoever. But if you tell your daughter that you, as it looks like, pretty much love for you to pay for the grandchildren's farewell and everything, to then change her and be like, oh, okay, at the end, no, we actually don't want you to come with us, then I think she would actually hate them a little bit for when you hate your parents for like 10 seconds where it's like, oh, are you kidding me? And then this negative vibe would stick with the couple actually when going alone, so that's the thing. If I would do that kind of move, where I change plans without telling anyone, I would live with the negative feeling of, oh, I just did that.
But would this also kind of not be a good opportunity to teach a lesson of being like, we already told you that no, and no, it would have been
but
a good
they accepted
lesson
at the end, and even paid the tickets.
If they would have stick to their ground and then did that as being like kind of a lesson, and we told you no, and we've been paid, and you still try to butcher this, then you're right. In the end, they should have just stayed with their no.
So then he writes, it wasn't an easy decision and I feel guilty about it. But I wanted our 14th anniversary to be the special, intimate celebration we had always hoped for.
But you're right, it is tainted now.
Tainted, exactly. That's the word. Yeah. That's the word, yeah. We called Jane after we landed. Okay, that's hilarious. just you believing you're going to a family trip for your parents to be like, oh, so we're already here without you.
And they changed places, right?
Yeah, something like that. And to the original place.
But then again, I do have to say, I think if they're in the same place, but if they just changed the hotel, I wouldn't think that too bad. Or is it a completely different like a country? Did they go to a different place in complete?
So he said that decided on an all-inclusive, family-friendly resort.
Because as I understood
they changed resorts.
So they only changed to they are still at the same place with the other with like a daughter.
He doesn't specify that.
But as I understand, they're in the same country. They just changed the hotel to the kids free hotel they actually wanted to go.
Well, he said just, romantic destination. So you can be sure. Did they change country? Only the resorts or also like the country?
Because if they only change the resort, it's not so bad. Because then it's like we just decided to stay somewhere else.
Yeah.
If they change the whole country and destination, then that is asshole.
He didn't specify. But then, so we called Jane after we landed to tell her, and she was extremely upset, to say the least. She seemed of the idea that we were going to look after our grandkids. What did I tell you? Grandpa nannies. So she and her husband could have alone time. And now that I abandoned her, they would have to do it all themselves.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, I hung up on them when my son-in-law started shouting, and my wife and I enjoyed the rest of our trip. They came back the same day we did, but have not answered any of our texts, and Jane seems to be ignoring me. My wife told me she vastly preferred our trip to the family trip we would have taken, but she still doesn't like how Jane is mad at us and wants me to apologize. I'm not sure I want to, after learning Jane and her husband were using us for free babysitting and a free trip, but I feel like I should just to keep the peace.
No, you need to.
Am I the asshole for changing our trip destination last minute and leaving Jane and her family to fend for themselves?
Yes, you are the asshole that you did that. But now that you did it, stick to it in a way that makes you less the asshole in a way. I mean, I don't mean this in a toxic way of he should never apologize and everything like that. But it's like, okay, you took that decision now, realizing that you didn't want to you wanted to stay to the original plan, and you realize now that your daughter anyway only wanted to use you. So apologize for the fact that you changed plan and didn't tell them, but stay on the ground of, but it's not okay from her that she invited herself just to use them as a nanny. So don't just apologize and ignore that. That's what I'm trying to say here. Like use this as a moment of you wanted to use us. That is not okay, and our relationship is going to be tainted from now on if you cannot accept that we in the first place didn't want this trip. So you planned this whole trip on something that was never our desire just because you wanted something.
Exactly that. Just what you say, exactamente así. Okay, like you do have to apologize for the asshole move, but stay clear that, you're not the only one to blame for the situation to end the way it did.
That's a way clearer version
also
of it.
take accountability for what you did to us without thinking about our feelings or our needs, For
you said it so much clearer than I. That's what I wanted to say. Yes, exactly.
Should I read the comments?
Yes.
Okay.
What do they say?
So the top comment just said, what part of the 14th anniversary trip did your daughter and son-in-law not understand? Oh, boo freaking who. They wanted to spend time alone and designated the grandparents to babysit on what should have been their special trip. If your daughter and son-in-law wanted alone time on a trip, they could have gone on a different trip. And politely, the way I just, went to tone higher, already imagining what the writer is saying. And politely asked you and your wife to watch the kids while they were away. Do not feel guilty, OP. Not even for a second. Okay, I do not agree with that. You and your wife have done the parenting of your kids, and now it's time to start enjoying life as a couple again. Sure, you are parents and grandparents, but you're still a couple and deserve to enjoy falling in love with each other all over again with romantic trips that do not include your offspring or grandkids. Your daughter needs a swift kick of reality right in the tukas. Okay, the tukas. Write in the comments if you've ever heard of this description for, She had the audacity to invite her family to your romantic weekend with the express purpose of securing babysitters so she could enjoy herself without any thought for her parents. The entitlement is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. But I do not agree on the fact that, you should apologize for the obvious thing that you changed your plans because you also did not stick on your ground with saying no, as we discussed. And it's also kind of reflecting on your parenting if you are, as parents, not able to say no to your child. And especially now that she has children, she should understand what a no means.
Exactly. So.
And the daughter is really self-absorbed. If this is their special anniversary trip, and she's like, but I want you to watch the kids because we need alone time. Jesus Christ.
Like from all the time, from all the years you could have asked for that. You decided
take a different vacation.
Exactly.
I also think doing a family vacation would be nice. Like I would love to do, for example, like a family cruise with my husband, the baby, the grandparents, if they want to come to, because it's also a great way where you can have alone time, where you can have together time, where where you can enjoy with the family, but everyone can also be separate and everything. But that's only if everyone is willing and clear on, the fact that you also want some alone time.
Exactly. So I think we got overheated just by discussing about these two stories. Oh, crazy. I'm giving you back.
Good. Let's go into the next
the iPad.
But they got overheated. So our next story, again from Relationship Advice, is titled Man 38 Male, I 26 Female, dated last summer, just told me he was married the entire time.
Oh!
Talking about summer flings. Careful.
I don't know if I've mentioned this in another episode, but you do know that, and I don't know if this applies to other Latino countries, but do you know that in Mexico there's this saying of la casa grande and la casa chica? No. Where it's very common that a man just has like his main family and the family aside. What? And they call it casa grande and casa chica.
Oh,
so
my God.
She was the casa chica, basically.
I guess. But what would you do if you had a summer fling with someone and then found out that this person was married?
And that he has his whole other life.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, well, dated last summer, it depends on how long we'll see, but let's say you had a one-time thing, like or just a summer romance, the typical where you meet on vacation and you have something, but it ends when you have to go back home. But then you find out that this person is married. Would you do something? Would you tell the wife or try to, or ignore it?
We need to listen to the story, but it depends. My answer would depend in how much emotionally invested I was in the relationship, because if I tell him like I want this to be a serious committed relationship long term, then I invested myself emotionally pretty deep for you to tell me actually it wasn't this serious,
but if it would just be in a one-night stand.
Okay. If it's only
just asking, because
that's why it depends.
Let's say you had a one-night stand with a guy and it turns out he was married, wouldn't you feel bad about the fact that you were now part of his cheating?
Even though you didn't know it? That's a very good question. I don't know, because I mean, if it happens frequently with the same person, then you are part of the problem. But if it only happened one time and it's a one-night stand and you don't know each other and it was meant as a one-night stand for doing it only once, then I wouldn't take any responsibility whatsoever. But if you're cheating, if you're contributing to the constant cheating, and especially it happens repeatedly. Know about it,
if you didn't know about it and continue on, then I think at the moment you know about it and you continue on, you are the bad person. As long as you don't know, you've been fooled, and there's no fault in your part.
But then again, we can go, I think, hours and hours just discussing about what makes you a bad person or not, because, I mean, it really depends,
But, But knowing someone is married and still hooking up with them, I mean, in the end, it is obviously the married guy that is the issue, but you are associating in the issue. If you're associating in the issue, if you... Well, know it too at some point and continue on. But let's see. So edit, I did end up finding his wife on Facebook. I haven't seen this guy since November. 2 months ago, he randomly blocked me. Then today he sent me this. I need to get some things off my chest, and this is where I'm starting. I'm married. I've been with my wife almost 11 years. What happened is not who I am and definitely wasn't worth possibly costing me my marriage and family. What do I even say to this? I had no idea he was married, and now I feel guilty. Part of me thinks he's trying to shift his guilt onto me by sending me this. I didn't pursue this man. He pursued me. How do I respond to this? Should I feel guilty? And then edit, thank you for your support. This was my response. This is all on you, Brandon. Oh.
Brandon.
I won't share that guilt. You pursued me for months knowing you were betraying your family. I hope you can learn from your mistakes and balance your priorities. Wishing your wife all the best. Hope she's okay. I'm not going to censor his name. He responded that him and his wife are fine now. I didn't respond then. He blocked me. So, sounds like...
So they were... Like, she doesn't specify how long their relationship was.
I mean, she says she hasn't seen it since November, and that they dated last summer. So I think, considering calling it dating someone, it was probably more than one date.
Okay.
Like, I would say they went to at least 2 or 3 dates. If something more, it had something more to have happened. So... And she said he was actively pursuing her, so...
For months, so...
I think what she did is kind of the best thing. Like, she has no part of guilt in this.
No.
And that he tells her that is like, okay, that's crap. I didn't want to be part of this, but this is on you, and this is your issue.
Especially because he first blocked her, without telling her anything. And then just open up afterwards. Which, if someone blocks you, then that's the end, finito.
I would also be like, okay.
You wouldn't expect anything more from that person, So, I do agree that he just tries to share the pain.
But also that the blocking part actually shows how recent it was. I mean, that means they were dating, also chatting with each other, writing maybe daily, and he just blocked her out of nowhere and be like, what? So it is kind of okay that he wrote I mean, I would have wanted to know what is going
the explanation
on. I mean, if you are actively writing with someone and kind of starting to fall in love and they block you, you would just be like, what the heck?
That's the definition of being ghosted. Or love bombing.
But then again, having a text message where it's like, this person is married is also like, wow, crap. I think the best thing you can do in that position is what she did. Just being like, okay, well, I'm not going to pursue anything more with you. That's the end of it. Then. Finished. We're done.
No, it seems like a reasonable
very healthy, honestly.
That just reacted as you possibly can in that situation.
So, top comment. they write in brackets like 3 months is enough time to make it who you are, which is a liar, a cheater, and someone that uses other people for their own needs. Good luck in life. I see lots of karma in your future. And then block. You shouldn't feel any guilt. You were used for your body and for his emotional breakdown, or just for his whatever. What an asshole. Sorry, OP. And OP replied, I wish I said this, especially the first sentence. He is in denial. So they were dating for 3 months. I don't know if they take this because of the summer period, like dating for the 3 months of summer.
Yeah.
But that is a long time, honestly.
Yeah, after 3 months, things do get a little bit serious, don't they?
Yeah, and I do think they must have slept together just based on how he writes. Just my assumption is it's an assumption, but just I feel like if they would have not, it would maybe be like, okay, nothing happened.
I was just kidding, because something I do find funny about us Latinos is that even though sex is such a omnipresent topic, like whoever says it out loud or with very explicit words, you always have the tias or the family members who are always shocked, like, oh, how could you possibly say that? When it's so obvious. Like, come on, people.
It is funny because as Latinas, we are in a way super sexually open, but then also super taboo about it.
Because
like
of
both.
The religion.
It's like, you don't talk about it, but we love talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't talk about it, but there are like 1,000 or million of words for the same, parts of the body. It's like the creativity without limits of us Latinos.
What was one of the ladies' private parts name in Spanish for your mom?
Oh my God, I'm having a blackout right now. Well, as we said, we never talk about that very seriously or profoundly with my family, but I think in some countries it's concha, and in Mexico concha is a type of bread, so it's always like,
But I feel like my mom always, both my moms actually, my stepmom and my mom, with my little siblings, I noticed that they always invented like a new word for that part. There was always something new. It's like, oh, okay, let's let's change your diaper. Oh, do you need to potty?
Yeah.
Or do you
your tingy-lingy?
It's so strange words. I felt like every time it was a new I don't know.
They invented just a new word for the same thing.
It was a word where it's like, what?
Where did that come from?
But you always knew what she was talking. Well, at least I don't know if the children understand, but I do think it was clear what they were talking about. But it was just one random word took out of thin air, and it's like not even the same one as last time.
Yeah. If you're Latino, let us know in the comments how you, or in your country, how they call, the intimate parts of the body who are completely natural and normal and shouldn't be, such a taboo.
But honestly, I do have to say, even though I am very open and like to talk about sexual things and everything, I do always find different names for the lady parts. Like I always do things like the thing or the part or the womanly blossom or whatever. The cheese button.
La flor, how they romanticize it in Spanish.
The down there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think that should be a topic for another episode where we only talk about Latinos and their relationship with talking about sexual stuff out loud and directly, That would be pretty interesting
topic though. But yeah, next comment said, good response. If you want to give a good response, say nothing, block him. Petty response, tell him you have herpes, then block.
Oh my God, the shock.
Well, yeah,
but that would be really mean, honestly.
That would be super mean. That would, no, tell him you were pregnant.
That would be,
that would be hell broke loose. No, but you don't want to get involved.
No, you don't want to escalate things. So
that would just be a super petty revenge response. But then again, it would bite you in the ass. So don't do it.
No, better not.
But yeah. Let's move on to our light dessert at the end, our AskReddit question.
Yeah.
So the question for today is, would you rather it be winter or summer forever, and why?
So if I had to choose,
Yes.
and it would be forever, winter or summer?
Eternal winter, like
Or eternal.
frozen, or eternal summer?
Well, I am always who prefers the cold, and I do not
Funny
like.
as you grew up in Mexico.
Yeah, you know, I was just born in the wrong country. No, no, but as someone who prefers the cold, you would assume that I would say winter, but if it's forever, then I'm choosing summer. I'm definitely choosing summer. I want to be like in paradise, like Adam and Eve, you know, before being depressed in an eternal winter of darkness, you know. So
that's also, or let's say, not eternal winter, but if you had to choose between a country where it's always warm, like Florida, Mexico, things like there, versus a country like Norwegian countries where it's mostly cold and doesn't get really warm, even though they also get like somewhat warm. But where you have most of the time rather cold and wintry weather, which one would you prefer?
Again, I love snow. I love, you know, cold countries, but I still, if it's forever, I would still go for summer, because we as humans, we need the light, you know, we need the sun to not be depressed all the time. So
then again, Danish people are known to be the happiest people on earth, and they have damn cold weather.
And they have the highest suicide rates as well. So,
really?
You know, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty ironic that
I didn't know that.
You know, the happiest countries, because they have such a high quality of life, like Switzerland, Sweden, have also the highest suicide rates, because not because you are economically well off does it mean that you are also mentally well off.
But I think they're also like parenting wise and things like that very on like the top
very
list.
Progressive,
but
progressive. Yet very unhappy apparently. Because they are not they do not have, like in the Latinos families, this close community, you know, where they can rely of. They're pretty independent, pretty isolated, and so that's kind of the irony of the whole statistics of the happiest countries in the world.
I need to Google this because I'm like shocked. I'm like, are you really?
I mean, Switzerland, just as an example, I mean, I love how it has one of the highest, you know, life quality standards in every sense, but they also have like very high suicide rates. So, you know, you can't have everything apparently. Or if you have everything, that does not mean that you will have a satisfaction rate that is pretty high as well.
Well,
yeah.
I need to look at the list.
Yeah.
Just because I thought that would have been in different countries that are bigger also, or I don't know, you know, where it's kind of worse. Yeah, they're pretty high up there. Okay, wow, okay. Taking it back.
Yeah.
But back to the question.
Yeah, back to the... So, even
eternally.
though I prefer the cold, I mean... The summer does bring more, you know, vegetation, more vitamin D.
There's a lot more things you can do, like go outside, hiking, things like I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I would also choose summer, even though I much prefer the cold over the heat.
But now that I'm thinking about it, it's a pretty dumb question, because now with global warming and everything, we are always going
You're getting it.
We're already getting the eternal summer, you know? So
I even was kind of joking, which is not even that much of a joke, but considering when the heat started with for us, it's like, well, we might as well have like 31 degree until November, December, and then maybe winter next year sometimes in April.
Yeah.
If ever.
No, but the reason why I prefer cold countries is because for the human body, it's easier to get warm as it is to cool
down, right?
You know? So that's the thing. I would prefer summer still, but still, I wouldn't like to always have to look for ways to freshen up a little bit.
But honestly, even though I love South America. I love the heat. I love the beach. I love to go on vacation. I would much rather live somewhere like London or Denmark, actually, where it is rather cold and grayish. Because I don't know, I much prefer it. I hate the overheat. Maybe it's just because of the European way is that we don't have air conditioner and we like to suffer so much. But it's just... Okay, I am in the process of moving house and moving when it's so heated like it is right now. Just trying to clean. It is terrible. If it would be just slightly colder. And I mean, 27 degrees. 27 would be perfect. I could still function. Yeah. And working in an office in this heat, it's just terrible.
Feeling the sweat just going down.
Oh my
your
God.
body.
You are working
so
in a
disgusting.
suit and it's hot and there's no AC.
Yeah.
Because not even in offices sometimes you have that.
So difficult question. Maybe because of the vitamin D, I would still prefer the summer, but I do prefer like cold.
But in places. A cold country where you still have sun, you have still the sun, you have still light, but the weather doesn't go above 26 degrees in summer.
Okay.
Then
I would change to winter. Yeah.
Then rather the colder area.
Exactly. I'm just concerned about the sun. That I get enough sunlight.
It is kind of a question which doesn't make a lot of. It's a different question for us living in Switzerland. But I follow a lot of influencers that were also moving states in the USA, from Florida to different parts where it's much colder.
The Midwest.
They lived in Texas and they moved to, I don't know, like... I kind of forgot.
Yeah, but
one of the colder places.
Somewhere else in the US.
Somewhere colder. I don't know. Maybe Washington or something like that. Or
And what would they say?
Ohio, for example.
And what would they say?
Obviously, for some, it's crazy because if you grew up in Florida and a place where it's always warm and you suddenly move to a state where you have all the four, weathers seasons and you're not used to that, it can be kind of scary in a way. But I think a lot of people, even though you can get used to the weather all the time and you have obviously different systems there, it can be nicer. I feel like it is nicer.
That's true.
I really love winter. I love winter, and one of my favorite is fall. Actually, I love when
from all the seasons. I also love fall.
I love pumpkin spice, but the pumpkin spice when it's getting colder and you can. I love when I can wear like a bit more warmer clothes, but not yet winter clothes.
Fall fashion is pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So let's change the question. So no, I just think it's funny. So if they would ask us, okay, do you prefer eternal summer or eternal winter? Our answer, eternal fall.
Eternal fall. That would be perfect. Middle. Yes, that would be amazing. So, top comment. Someone wrote, summer forever. Can't grow shit in the winter, plus heating would be a problem in the long run. Thinking economically. Yeah. And someone else wrote, I'm going to ignore all the crop related and other, but this would be a problem stuff, because obviously if we live in an eternal winter, we'd have adapted millennial ago. And also this question is for fun and requires a suspension for disbelief. Anyway, winter all the way. When I'm in bed, completely clothless and still sweating profoundly and unable to sleep because it's summer and the AC sucks, or you have no AC, like we. Yeah, we hate it.
Yep.
Worst thing in the world? Chilly? Put some layers. Still chilly? Blanket. Still chilly? More blanket. You'll be warm eventually. Plus, I love rainy days, and while that's mostly a spring thing, warm rain in the summer is awful. Yeah, that's the thing. I love wintertime. I love Christmas. I love snuggling up in bed when it's cold outside. I love being in the snow. And I love being indoor when it's cold outside. So I love wintertime. I'm just kind of sad that we don't get beautiful winters as much anymore.
Thank you, global warming. Yeah.
Which we are kind of fighting against with having no AC, but it still sucks. It sucks.
It's a big sacrifice.
Like, America, can you get on our board so that we can repair global warming? Suffer with us so we can all stop suffering.
Yeah, do that, please.
If that would be the answer. I mean, I wish it would be that easy. But that was all for today.
That was it.
That was the chisme for today.
And if your tia has a better chisme, let us know in the comments.
Write us in the comments. What story did you love? Which story was the crazier one, which was Overheated? And also write us where you're from which part. Where do you live? Is it hot there or is it chilly?
Exactly. Yeah, just do that.
Just do that.
We would be very curious to know from where you are listening, from which corner of the world.
And follow us on Instagram on Latinas Unmasked to get behind the scenes and updates and just to know when the next episodes are coming out and to other projects. Get to know us, write with us, chat with us, and we'll love to see you there.
Exactly.
Until next time.
Bye bye. Hasta la próxima.